practice it. We're going to get started in child's pose. So we bring the knees down to the mat, bringing the hips onto the heels, extending the arms out long, and then bringing the forehead down. Taking a few breaths here, maybe closing the eyes. From here, we're coming up into a tabletop position. So the shoulders come over the wrists and the hips come over the knees. On the inhale, we drop the belly and look up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we pull the belly in, rounding the spine, looking towards the navel. Inhaling, dropping the belly, looking up. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, looking towards the navel. One more time. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then we come back to a neutral spine. We tuck the toes and lift the hips up, coming into our first downward dog. Pressing down through the entire hand. Trying to get those heels down onto the mat, lifting the hip bones up towards the ceiling. Dropping the head. Maybe bending into that right knee, pressing the left heel down. And then going to the other side, pressing the right heel, bending into the left knee. And then pressing both heels down, straightening into both knees. We look in between the hands and just begin to slowly walk the feet up there, bringing the toes and heels to touch, letting the body hang forward. Maybe bending in through the knees a little bit, letting the body hang, maybe taking opposite elbows. Taking a few deep breaths here, opening up the backs of the legs. Letting the head drop, maybe nodding it yes or shaking it no. And release the elbows and slowly come up to stand. Straightening into the knees, inhaling the arms up overhead. And we exhale the palms to heart center. Starting with Surya Namaskara A, inhaling the arms up. On the exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward over the legs. Taking a few breaths here once again in this forward fold, bringing the weight into the balls of the feet. On the next inhale, the fingertips come to the shins, we lengthen the spine, also taking a few breaths here, bringing those shoulders down away from the ears, pulling in the belly, making a number 7 shape. Bending into the knees, planting the hands in the ground, we're going to step both feet back into a plank position. Once again, pulling in the belly, reaching the spine out long. Taking our first vinyasa, the knees come down, we untuck the toes, bending the elbows in towards the chest, and then straightening the elbows, sinking the hips. We tuck the toes, bend the knees, and then lift the hips up, straightening the knees, coming back into our downward dog. Looking in between the hands and just stepping both feet there, toes and heels touching. On the inhale, fingertips come to the shins, we lengthen the spine. Exhaling, folding forward. On the next inhale, coming up to stand, reaching the arms up. And exhaling the palms to heart center. Once again, inhaling the arms up. Exhaling, folding forward. On the inhale, fingertips to the shins, lengthening the spine. Bending into the knees, planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank position. Knees can be up or down, whichever one you choose for your vinyasa. Bending into the elbows, straightening the elbows. We tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward dog. Looking in between the hands, hopping or stepping both feet there. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Exhale, folding forward. On the next inhale, coming up to stand, reaching the arms up. We exhale the palms to heart center. Coming into Surya Namaskara B, bending into the knees, sitting the hips back, reaching the arms forward. Pulling in the belly, reaching the arms out long. On the exhale, folding all the way over. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. On the exhale, bending into the knees, planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank, and taking your vinyasa. And then coming into downward dog, lifting those hips up towards the ceiling as high as they go, sinking the heels. We look in between the hands and step only the right foot there, sinking those hips once again. We put the left knee down and untuck the toes, coming into dragon. Getting a stretch in the front of that left thigh. Maybe you'll pull in the belly and lift the arms up. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears once again. We're also going to take a little back bend here, trying to bring those arms behind the ears, really opening up the heart. Coming back to center, this time twisting towards the right. Reaching both arms out long, looking over towards the right thumb. Pulling in the belly. keeping that right knee in towards the center of the body. We come back to center, inhaling the arms up. Both hands come down, tucking the left toes, setting that right foot back into plank, taking your vinyasa. And then finding your downward dog. Pressing those heels into the mat, lifting the hip bones. We look in between the hands and step the left foot there. Sinking the hips, right knee comes down, we untuck the right toes. Taking a few breaths here. Stretching out the front of the right thigh this time. From here, inhaling the arms up overhead and taking a few more breaths. Maybe going for that back bend. And we come back to center, twisting towards the left, looking over towards that left thumb. Really twisting as much as you can, going a little bit further in every exhale. We inhale the arms up. Both hands come down, we tuck the right toes, send that left foot back into plank, and take a vinyasa. Lifting the hips up, coming into downward dog. Still pressing into the entire hand, pulling in the belly, letting the head drop. We look in between the hands, hopping or stepping both feet there. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding forward. Bending into the knees, sitting the hips back, coming into chair. Reaching the arms up, bringing the shoulders down, pulling in the belly. On the next exhale, folding forward. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, folding again. On the next inhale, coming up to stand, reaching the arms up. And we exhale the palms to heart center. From here, we're taking our chair series, so we're going to separate those feet about hip distance apart. That's about 2 fists between those big toe joints. Bringing the arms out in front of us, bending into the knees, sitting the hips all the way back. Taking a few breaths here, still pulling in the belly, bringing those shoulders down, trying to sit the chest back in the chair. For one more breath, sinking a little bit lower. And then we straighten the knees. This time we're going to bring both feet together. The palms come to heart center. We bend the knees again, sitting the hips back. We twist towards the right this time. That left elbow comes to the outside of that right knee. And we use that as leverage to twist a little bit further. Still trying to sit those hips back and down. Making sure that that left knee is still directly in line with the right. Maybe changing the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then we come back to center and go the other way. Twisting towards the left this time. The right elbow hooks onto the left knee. And we twist, maybe gazing up, trying to get those palms back to heart center. Sitting the hips a little bit deeper, coming back to center. And then we fold forward. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. On the exhale, bending the knees, planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank and taking your vinyasa. Lifting those hips, coming into downward dog. This time we lift that right leg up towards the ceiling. That right knee comes over towards the right shoulder. And we lift it back up. Going over towards the left shoulder this time. Lifting it back up. Last time, that knee comes in towards the forehead, rounding the spine up, trying to make contact. We look in between the hands, stepping the right foot there, and then coming up. Still trying to sink those hips, pulling in the belly, making sure that that left hip is coming forward so both hips are in line with each other. Pushing through that left heel, trying to straighten into that left knee, reaching the arms up. And we twist towards the right. Reaching both arms out long, looking towards the right hand. One more breath. And we lift that right arm back up. Both hands come down to the floor. Right foot goes back into plank, and we take a vinyasa. And then come into our downward dog. Lifting up the left leg this time. Left knee comes out towards the left shoulder. We lift it back up. It goes over towards the right shoulder. Lifting it back up. Last time, that knee comes in towards the forehead, rounding the spine, trying to make contact. We look in between the hands and step the left foot there. Lifting up the arms. Coming into your crescent lunge, making sure that right hip is coming forward. Pulling in the belly, sinking those hips. Reaching the arms up again. And then we twist towards the left. Looking over towards the left hand. Taking one more breath. Inhaling that left arm back up. Both hands come down to the mat. Left foot goes back into plank, and we take a vinyasa.
Lifting the hips, finding your downward dog.
Looking in between the hands, hopping or stepping, both feet there, toes and heels touching. Inhaling, lengthening the spine. Exhaling, fold, bending into the knees, finding your chair again, sitting those hips back, reaching the arms forward, pulling in the belly. And then we come up to stand, bringing the palms to heart center. From here we're taking a modified version of dancing Shiva. So we're going to stand on that left leg nice and strong, bringing that right knee in, interlacing the fingers around the right knee. Finding your balance, looking at one point directly in front of you. We're going to leave that left hand in front of the right knee. Right hand comes to the right hip. We begin to twist towards the right. Eventually the gaze goes towards the back of your mat, extending that right arm out long, and then gazing towards that right thumb. Finding a strong standing leg, still pulling in the belly. Taking one more breath. And then we come back to center. Extending that right leg out and bringing it down. Going to the left side for dancing Shiva, bending into that left knee, interlacing the fingers around the knee. Standing up nice and tall. Finding your balance, looking at one point in front of you. Then we're going to take that right hand around that left knee. Left hand comes to the left hip. We begin to twist towards the left. Maybe extending that left arm out long, looking towards that left thumb. Finding this deep twist from the belly. Standing strong in that standing leg. One more breath. And we come back to center, extending that left leg out and bringing it down. Inhaling the arms up overhead. On the exhale, folding forward. From here, we're coming into squat. So we're going to bring those feet so that those toes are coming to about the edges of your mat, bending into the knees. The heels turn in. Eventually, the heels come down to the floor. We bring the palms to heart center. Finding a nice long spine here. Taking a few breaths. This pose is very good for digestion. That's why I added it to the list. And then from here, we'll gently just come to a seated position. Extending both legs out long. That right knee comes in towards the chest, planting that right foot on the ground. Hugging the right knee in with the left elbow, twisting towards the right. The right hand comes behind you like a kickstand. And then we twist even further. Gazing over the right shoulder. Keeping that left leg straight. And the left foot flexed. On every inhale, lengthening the spine. On every exhale, twisting a little bit further. And we come back to center, straightening that right leg out, bringing that left knee in, planting that left foot on the floor, twisting towards the left, hugging that left knee in with the right elbow. Left hand comes down behind you. We look over that left shoulder. Lengthening on the inhales, twisting on the exhales, keeping the right leg active. And we come back to center, extending that left leg out.
And then slowly coming to lie down on the floor.
Letting those palms face up to the ceiling. Relaxing the body into the floor. That right knee's coming in towards the chest, interlacing the fingers around the knee. Pulling it in, keeping the left leg active once again. We straighten that right leg up towards the ceiling and slowly lower it down. This time bending into the left knee and interlacing the fingers around the knee. Coming into half when removing pose on the other side. Keeping the right leg active. Straightening that left leg up towards the ceiling. Slowly lowering it down. Once the heel hits, bringing both knees in towards the chest. Grabbing a hand around each knee. Maybe opposite wrists around both knees. Eventually grabbing opposite elbows. Trying to leave that tailbone on the floor. Here, massaging the colon. We're going to release our grip and then move the knees over to the right side, letting them relax on the floor, trying to keep that left shoulder down. Maybe you extend that left arm out and look over towards the left. Maybe closing the eyes. Trying to deepen the breath here. Bringing the knees back to center and going the other way. Letting the knees melt over towards the left, trying to keep the right shoulder down this time. Changing the gaze to be over towards the right. Relaxing the body, relaxing the mind. Maybe closing the eyes. Knees come back in towards the chest. And we slowly lower both legs down to the mat. Letting the feet flop open to the sides. Letting the shoulders relax. Letting the palms face up to the ceiling, closing the eyes again. Trying to release any tension that you may be feeling right now. Relaxing any facial expression. Releasing the jaw, taking the tongue off the roof of the mouth. Deepening the breath. Try not to let the mind wander. As we come into our final Savasana, I'll let you know when it's time to come up.
As we slowly begin to reawaken the body, wiggling the fingers and the toes, deepening the breath, bringing both knees in towards the chest, rolling onto the right side in the fetal position, sealing in the energy that we've cultivated for ourselves during our practice today. And then slowly pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated position, bringing the palms to heart center, taking a few deep breaths.
Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my yoga flow. Namaste.